just handing over to Anup Tiwari ji to continue the perspective of the further discussion there. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Voice is audible?
Yes, a little louder will help. Little louder will help.
Now I'm sure, sir, little better.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Please.
So now, as rightly brought out by Mr. Dalmia, that when we say or when we speak or when we discuss about the two aspects that we are here for, bitcoins and blockchain, they are absolutely different things. Bitcoin is an application, while blockchain is the backend technology. So while we can debate upon Bitcoin, it is debatable, it is right, it is wrong, it is legally right, it is legally wrong, etc. On the other side, blockchain has got no such bias. It is there to help us, it is there to assist, and rightly so. As I have been seeing and reading and exploring the domain, the Indian context, the government has taken the right steps at the right time. In fact, about last year, January 20, they had come up with the document, a draft document of the blockchain Indian strategy, wherein they had come up with various applications in the sense wherein blockchain can be used, transfer of land records, digital certificates management. Like CBSC had recently come up with the news that their records are on blockchain, then death certificates, then birth certificates, agreements, sale deeds, then most importantly, important things like pharmaceutical supply chains. Now, for an example, if I take, I'm talking about the blockchain applications in practical context that are definitely looking future ahead in India. Like pharmaceutical supply chain, we have absolutely no clue as a customer, as a consumer, what is fake and what is not fake and what is right, etc. In pharmaceutical supply chain, from the origin, from the factory premise till the chemist shop, the supply chains are, these models are coming up, there are proposals, there are discussions, there are research works which are currently going on, wherein each and every node will be known to the consumer, when it was manufactured, when it started its journey for the distributor, when it finally reached the chemist, etc., on a simple scan. So that is the power of a simple blockchain concept. In case I am able to just mention here in few minutes, pharmaceutical, then e-notary service blockchains, farm insurance, identity management, power distribution, agriculture, electronic health records is another very important thing. Like in the countries outside, if we talk not in the Indian context, electronic health records are basically very confidential information. Unlike us, we do not treat that much of importance, because we have that tendency to say कि यार क्या हो गया अगर मेरी कोई information चली गई. So that kind of built up is there, that kind of back end mindset is there. But slowly and slowly we are realizing that EHR, electronic health records, are of key importance. So this is one another important area wherein it is up to the patient who is suffering, that he is willing to share that data, that he is suffering from that kind of disease, or he is going through that kind of suffering, or he is not interested. If he is not interested, he will not allow, he will not give that access controls, he will not give that privacy controls. Thereafter, in digital evidence management system, of course, again different models are coming. Then in another session I was just hearing about the IoT, industrial IoT devices, which are coming up in a big way. That's now everything. When we speak about blockchain or Bitcoin, it is global. We cannot just confine it to a boundary, that Bitcoin we will make it legal here, we will make it illegal there, because there are ways and means. Now, like for now, I have just taken up few domain areas wherein blockchain is being planned for usage and exploitation by the government of India, via their this Indian strategy document. Now then, there is another very interesting debate that goes on. Bitcoin is legal or illegal? Irrespective, I am from the technical side, and I can say that it is technically a gem of a technology. It is an amalgamation of so many technologies which were there existing with us for last about 30-40 years, whether it is the hashes, the encryption, the public keys, the private keys, the blocks, the Merkle trees, so much of amalgamation of technologies, and Bitcoin is a gem of a technology. Now, from a technology point of view, and when we speak about this banning it, now how do we ban that? Now, given the fact that there are bills being put up, and there are debates going on TV channels that this will be banned, or how do we ban it? Banning means we make it illegal that any such kind of transactions will be there. But there are ways and means that are coming up, like El Salvador. El Salvador is a country which has made Bitcoin legal. Okay, so how does it matter to us? El Salvador is a country which has, about 2 months back, the president has given an official statement that their existing 20 active volcanoes will be used for Bitcoin mining. Okay, now what is that? It is for them to consider that volcanoes, their existing active live volcanoes, are being used for Bitcoin mining. But his another statement, therein we will be affected. His another statement says that these mining services will be given to the global citizens, that they will be able to mine Bitcoins from their respective tables, from their respective nodes. Then there are global efforts. Now, I'm not talking about the legality or illegality part, but the kind of efforts, the global efforts are going on, and we'll not be able to refrain much in respect of transactions. There, like globally, USA, Russia, Ukraine, there are nuclear plants. It is not a joke. There are dedicated nuclear plants which are being used for Bitcoin mining. Then, of course, if in case we ban internet, the Bitcoin transactions on the internet, suppose we start monitoring, we start surveilling everything on the internet, that who is transacting from where to where, is he using Tor, is he using Illuminati, is he using any anonymous kind of a network. Then we have got satellites, dedicated satellites for Bitcoin transactions. Blockstream is a company. I'm just giving out an example. As late as about 2 years back, 2018-19, they have launched about 5 satellites dedicated to this Bitcoin transactions. All one person, and 5 satellite means each nook and corner of the globe, irrespective of whether there is internet or not, whether it is in a mountain hideout, whether it is in a low zone area, low signal area, irrespective. They are they are already in the market with their devices wherein no internet is required. You have to have their device, and on the internet it is available for $500. $500, you get an antenna, you get a it is known as Blockstream base antenna, and you buy it on the web, and you place it just like DTH, and you are on with the full node. You'll be able to do transactions. There is no internet involved here. There is no RBI involved here. You are simply doing the mining. You are simply doing the transaction. Now here it is a challenge. How do we stop this, or how do we negate this in case we are going ahead with legalizing or making it illegal, etc. Then now this being the Bitcoin part, again, please let me know whenever I have to stop, because things will keep evolving.
I would just, because you have stopped, taken a pause at a very interesting point.
So that is my take, sir.
Excellent, excellent. Because we have UPI there managing everything well, and the way we are moving ahead there, billion transactions on UPI, well taken. But still, if you see, I'll not make my comment. I'll summarize it later, but I'll hand it over to Anupji to further with a very strong statement coming from Dalmia ji. Why do we want it? Handing over to you, Anupji, for this.
Exactly, sir. I agree with Mr. Dalmia. There is, if from a finance point of view, if from a transaction point of view, we are actually holding absolute right apps and right improving system, and which is continuously improving. So there is absolutely no need. It is the greed in the eyes of common man, which is actually attracting so much of investment. $40 billion last year, during COVID times, 1 year, $40 billion were invested by the Indians alone. So I absolutely agree with Mr. Dalmia. And before we close it, one point is, in the domain of these cryptocurrencies, especially for any kind of cryptocurrency, whether it is Ethereum or Bitcoin or anything, irrespective, we ban it, we make it legal, illegal, there will be cases, there will be crimes, and for that we have to be proactive, in the sense that we have to be, as on date, working towards digital forensics in crypto crimes. Crypto forensics is another very subtly lying and unattended domain as on date. We are actually relying only on the KYC part for anybody buying from WazirX or any local crypto exchange. That is only for the KYC part. But when we do it on the live blockchain, when we do transactions of actual at global level, then it is the proactive approach which is required in the need today. That is Bitcoin forensics, crypto forensics. So that should be the key focus area as on date, so that we can improve upon the system machinery in next about year, 2 years, 3 years, and awareness especially.
Sure, sure. Thank you. Well taken. The new fund, research angle, the concentration towards crypto forensic is much more, and endorsing Dalvijaya. That's how the panel is moving. Not putting on my thoughts again. I'll just hand it over to Anupji